Not too long ago, I did a video on the N-word when Dr. Umar was talking about how we shouldn't use it. And I gave the true definition, I believe, of how the word is actually used and what it really means, which I'm going to go over very briefly today, but I'm going to tackle it because this group AMP decided to make a video saying who gets to say the N-word when the majority of their group isn't allowed to say it anyways. So I want you to follow along with me in my philosophy, and we're going to get down to the bottom of this once again. And for those who want to watch that video that I did on Dr. Umar's take on the N-word, it will be pinned, it will be included in the cards at the top right of the video. But other than that, let's get started. How do we define the N-word? The N-word is my Black American brother in, of, or who knows of my Black American struggle. Or simplified, my brother in struggle. Or male, but most of the time Black male. Now when it comes to the N-word, only FBA get to use it. And the reason as to why is because our culture is that of revolt and rebellion. And we took the power back from that word, and that shows the proof of our ability to rebel against oppression, which is one of the major values of our culture. Honestly, that's one of the things that we put our hat on. That's one of the staples of who we are. And this word, it stems from the N-word that whites used against us to degrade us. Now, I know a lot of people like to say that, oh, well, I'm Black, so they say it against me. It's like, that's not what Muhammad Ali was saying when he was talking about how Black Africans were allowed to go into those white-only places, but Black Americans were not allowed to do so. Even all the way up to the 70s, 60s, and 70s, 60s, and whatnot, Black immigrants came over here and were not treated like how we were. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have a struggle in America at all, but what I'm saying is that our struggle is not the same. They're not like us. And when it comes to that word that white people use to degrade us, not really them, not like that, but the word that they really use to degrade us as Black American freedmen, as foundational Black American, we took that and we used it as a symbol of strength, a show of our rebellious and warrior spirit. We took that and we remixed it into a symbol of strength. And this is also the allure that makes other cultures want to participate in being able to use it. They want to be able to use it because they want to be seen as strong and dominant as Black Americans are. They want to have that same reputation for having that fight, that vigor, but they don't really have that. They have, for a lot of these immigrants, a reputation of fleeing their homelands. But as Black Americans, we don't really have that. We have a reputation of standing on business 10 toes, so much so that we set the scene and we set the fights for other people in other countries. So they want to kind of come over here and they want to be able to bite off of that and get the same reputation, get the same strength. But although they may take the word and they may use it, they don't embody what that word really means, which is that they are not of our struggle, which means if they're not of our struggle, they're not like us. AMP is full of Black immigrants, except for one. They don't really come from our culture, and as you can see, it shows in their group dynamics how the antics that they get into, the ways that they act, are kind of foreign to Black Americans. And when we look at the makeup of their group, the only one who really is the powerhouse of swag and status in the entire group is Duke Dennis. And when we compare them to other groups like RDC that is spearheaded and has a majority of Black Americans, who I'm assuming that they're mainly Black Americans, with the exception of like Dylan. they have a better like group dynamic, in my opinion, than when it comes to the group dynamics of A&P. And when it comes to them playing sports, like if you've watched them play the flag football game, the person that everybody was really worried about was Duke Dennis. They weren't worried about Agent. They weren't worried about Kai. They weren't worried about Davis. They weren't worried about Phantom. They weren't worried about any of them. The only people they were worried about was the quarterback and Duke Dennis. And when it came to RDC, they didn't really like, that's all they were really like putting their eggs on, especially Mark Phillips. And when it comes to the dynamics between those two groups, it's normally like them who get into it the most. And that's the biggest and that's the most entertaining back and forth that they have, rather than when Mark goes at it with, like, let's say Kai Cenat or Agent. So moving forward, for people who are not of our lineage, the N-word is only for us. Point blank, period. Now, I know people are still going to continue to use that word in regardless. However, I can assume you that that's not going to always be the case. The lineation is ultimately taking root. It is growing slowly but surely. And it will soon get to the point where one day you will feel the pressures of using that word and won't be willing to use it so much. And when it comes to Black Americans, or Black American freedmen, or FBAs, this word is not a negative word unless used by other people of other ethnicities. But like I said before, it is a staple of the Black American community, and it showcases our unique culture of fighting back against the world. It relates us, it connects us, it binds us in our shared struggle. And this word represents our undying fight against this system. And in my belief, I believe we actually shouldn't stop using the word until our fight with this white supremacist system is actually done. So thanks for following me in my philosophy. I know this was a short video, but I wanted to get very straight to the point. And if you like my philosophy, go ahead and hit the like button. If not, still do it. And as always, I'm always open to, the debate in the comment section or whatnot. If you got information that, I don't have or whatnot, I'm always open to it. And also, I want to say shout out to that brother who was standing on lineage business during that video, who was telling that other dude about FBAs and whatnot, and saying that we're the only ones who get to use that word, because it's true. He was standing on business 10 toes, and he was fighting against that other dude and all the other AMP members and whatnot. So he was standing on business out there. So I want to salute that brother. And as we go, I want you to always remember that the unexamined life ain't worth living. Peace.